Hey everybody, Fletch from All Things Overlanding here. On today's episode of Overlanding Gear, Mods, Do-It-Yourself, I'm going to be talking about and unboxing a new product that I just picked up. I'm super excited about it because it's probably the fanciest light/lantern I've ever had. But I'm actually really excited about that because I only usually buy cheap stuff, and this thing is badass. So what I'm talking about is the Lander Cairn XL. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in the video. I'm going to tell you about all the features, and I'm going to kind of walk you through what it looks like. I'm going to unbox the whole thing. So before we dive into that, I just want to touch on my featured partners really quick. Overland Addict. If you click on the links below, there will be links to all these guys in the description, but Overland Addict sells pretty much anything to do with overlanding. All kinds of gear, from rooftop tents to jerry cans to anything you could want. So definitely check him out in the description below. Also, if it's still available, I'm not sure when I'm going to drop this video, there will be a couple of extra links because he's got some specials going on. So if you're interested in a National Luna fridge or a Go Fast Campers rooftop tent, check that out as well. Also, the Last US Bags Company. Awesome bag company. They make, I'm looking around to see where mine are because they're always in the truck or right around here. They make awesome overlanding gear bags, and they're just super high quality, super amazing stuff. So definitely click through that link below to check them out. Third, More Expo. Awesome event coming up in February of next year. If you click through the link below, you can register to get your tickets. And for the first 250 people, you actually get 25% off. So instead of 20 bucks, it's 15 bucks. So definitely click through that link below and get your tickets ASAP for that. And then last but not least, Northology Adventures. Just got back from a big 5-day trip to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for an event called CORE, the Keweenaw Overland Adventure Retreat, that was put on in part by Northology Adventures. So they do like custom sort of tours and drives and overlanding trips, as well as they have a free overlanding magazine. So again, click through that link below, sign up for their free overlanding magazine. It's amazing, beautiful photography, all kinds of outdoor stuff. It's awesome. So without further ado, let's dive into unboxing the Cairns XL from Lander. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, super excited to unbox this thing. I've kind of got turned on to Lander because I think I saw them on like Instagram or something like months and months ago. And then I've started to kind of pick up some of their gear because it's awesome stuff. Like they have just really cool, really interesting, like perfect sort of stuff for overlanders. So my thinking with this bad boy is I plan to use it in my new rooftop tent that I just got about a month ago. And now here is why. So first of all, it's got a 10,000 milliamp hour battery, which is pretty sweet. So it's got this humongous giant battery that you could use to recharge your phone. You could use it to run, a fan off of or things like that. So I'm kind of thinking this may consolidate a lot of my gear that I've got because I can use this as a lantern and I can run my battery powered fan off of the lantern, which is such a cool idea. So pretty excited to try that out. It's also got an app, which I know we're in the woods, we're in the wilderness, but still it runs off Bluetooth, so you don't need internet or anything like that. You don't need reception, but you can control the brightness of the light. You can turn it on and off. You can change the color of it. It's RGB, so like you can change this to any spectrum of the rainbow. So you could have a rave in your tent if you want, things like that. It's also got smart proximity built into the thing. So here's where I'm going with this, guys. Right, like one, if I'm heading towards the rooftop tent. Had a few beers, let's say, middle of the night, I can pop my phone out of my pocket and I can turn on the light so that I'm not climbing up in the dark and then fumbling around trying to find the light. That's cool. Or I could just, when I get close, it's going to sense my presence, it's going to sense movement, and it's going to turn on itself. So again, all those times that we've all done that, right? We've been climbing into a tent or a rooftop tent or something, and you're trying to find that lantern that's like strapped to the roof and you can't find the button and it's such a pain. But like this thing it's a little pricey for a lantern, but like it solves so many problems and it's just freaking cool. And then it also has a sleep timer, which this is really cool. So like you can set it up to like turn off at a certain time, turn on at a certain time, dim on up and down at certain times. So like in the morning, if you wanted to be gently woken up at an early time, you could set this thing to come on at a certain time to like gently wake you up. So I know I'm talking about really glamperish, like Overlander stuff here, but I'm telling you, like, for more practical reasons, more for the proximity stuff, for the ability to turn it on remotely, for the fact that it has a pretty good sized battery built into it, and just for the fact that, like, again, I've always been a cheap person. Now, this is not over the top pricey. Like, you know, there are those Claymore lights that are really badass. Like, they're amazing, but they're like hundreds of dollars. This thing runs about 80 bucks. So, again, I've probably had, I'd say in the last 4 years, I've probably had 5 or 6 different, you know, tent lights. I've got, and I still love, and I can't remember what they're called right now, but the strip lights, but then you have to plug them into a separate battery pack. They don't turn on automatically. They're not attached to an app. You can't turn them on remotely. You can't even really dim them. You can just turn them on and off. And you have to have another battery pack. You have to plug it in. That's how you turn it on and off. So not only do I have to find the lights, like the end of it for the plug-in, I have to find the battery pack and plug that in. It's just a huge hassle. But so, like, again, with this thing, it's all one unit. It's got some really smart little ties and stuff, so it makes it easy to put up in your tent. Like, it's designed to be hung in a tent or, you know, something like that, or hung on a bike or hung on a, you know, an awning, things like that. So it's literally designed to be a lantern at your campsite or in your tent. So yeah, this may be 80 bucks, but again, I've spent way more than that in lights that are crappy Chinese junk that broke the second or third time out, or were so dim that I didn't. Here's one. Like, I got this thing right here. This thing, it was like 10 bucks. I was like, oh, it's cool. It's got a little magnet on the back, right? So like, I was like, that's cool, because I can like stick it to the rooftop tent, like cross members or something, or I could stick it to my truck. So I bought this thing for like 10 or 15 bucks, probably 15 bucks. And I was like, oh, it's gonna be so cool. Well, so, and it does have a built-in battery, so it's rechargeable, which is nice, but it's a very small one. But check this out. That's as bright, like, I can stare. It's so not bright that I can literally stare at it and it doesn't hurt my eyes. Like, it barely even lights up. Like, look, I'm like a foot away from that. Like, when I get farther away, it doesn't even light it up. So like in a tent, this barely lights up the tent. Also, it's like really cheap. Like, it just fell apart. Literally, as I'm sitting here showing it to you, this like just sort of like clicks in, and it has this like little spring inside of it. Here, let me turn it off. That's how it operates. Like, that's all there is to this thing. Look at how cheap it is. Again, nothing against it. And it still works, right? It's not like it's broken or anything. It's just one of those things where I was like, okay, the magnet's perfect. It's rechargeable. That's perfect. This is really sweet. I'm going to get it and use it for my tent. And then I got the thing. Oh my God, it won't go back together now. And I put it in my tent and I'm like, okay, I can barely read a book with this thing, right? So again, still the budget-minded Overlander, but starting to realize that buying 18 different variants of really crappy stuff may not be the best way to go, but also not spending 400 bucks on like a Claymore light or, you know, something like that. Spending a little bit more, like 80 bucks, and getting one really high-quality light may be the way for me to go. So let's unbox this thing. Let's check it out. So, you know, first, of course, like all things you buy these days, it comes with a nice little, you know, sort of instructions. Tells you how to get the app, the Bluetooth app, so that you can use it for charging the lantern, or so that you can use it for controlling the lantern. So that's cool. So I'm going to check that out later. I'm going to try and do like a more comprehensive sort of like review of the app and stuff too in this, so that you guys get to see that. So I will show you that. And then I'm actually planning to go camping this weekend. I'm going to use it. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video for just a lantern review. But again, I'm going to literally unbox the thing. I'm going to show you how the app works and what that's like, and how that affects the light. And then I'm also going to show you like some like actual out in the wild footage this weekend when I go camping. So I'll give you my impressions of it when I camp. So with it, of course, micro USB cable for charging. Kind of nice. Pretty standard. I tell you what, like, I just think it's so cool. The way, like, so I've said this before about other things, but like when people put like effort and time into their packaging, I just appreciate it. Like, I don't think a lot of people pay any attention to it or care, but like, I just think this is like really nice photography with like the landscape behind it. And it's just, well, I mean, I do marketing, so like I like that stuff, but like, it's just really nice, right? Like, I've always been really impressed. That's what kind of drew me to them, is just the way that they box their stuff, the way that they market it, and then the quality of the gear too. All right, so this is the lantern right here. So you can see, you know, compared to my hand, about how big it is. So it's a pretty good size light. I mean, it's not huge, but it's good size enough that I think it's going to put out a decent amount of light. I will say I do like this. So the sides here are actually like sort of like a textured like rubber so that you can get a good grip on it. Like it's not slippery. The rest of it is kind of shiny and slippery, but like where you would actually grab it is really like grippy, really nice that you're not going to like just drop it. All right, so one of the nice little features of this lantern is that it does have this like drawstring that kind of goes back and forth through it, with the idea being, you know, again, you take it, you put it, say, through your strap on the top of your tent, and then you just loop it through and it will hold it up there, right? Or you could attach it to an awning, or you could attach it to a bike, or whatever you want to attach it to, you can use that. One thing that I will tell you is be careful, because it does have like a little, I don't know if you can see it in there or not, but it does have like a little bump in there. But I did, the first time I pulled this thing down, and I about got this thing stuck in there. It took me a little bit of work to get it back out of there. So little piece of advice, don't pull this thing all the way down, or it might get kind of stuck in there. You might have to use like your fingernail or something and kind of pry it out. But so I like that. I like that it has something built into it that just makes it really nice and easy to hang up in your tent, to take down, to put up. So that's kind of nice. Here on the side too, then, it's got a little sort of waterproofy, water resistant, I don't want to say waterproof in case it's not. Might be just be water resistant cover. And when you pry that off, then in here it's got a regular USB, so you can use this to charge up other devices, and it's got a micro USB for charging, which is pretty standard, but so nice. So again, this is a lantern, but it's 10,000 milliamp hour battery, so it's a pretty decent sized battery. So as I mentioned earlier, I may actually use this as my rooftop tent light. And then I may run a micro or a regular USB cable over to, I have a little battery powered fan. So like when it's hot in the summer and stuff, I may use this as sort of the backup battery for that. Because that one comes with a 2600 milliamp hour battery and says it'll go for about 4 to 6 hours. So with this thing in conjunction with that, I should have like an all-in-one solution basically between this and that fan in the rooftop tent. I can just keep them in the rooftop tent, use them when I need them, charge them up in between trips, that sort of thing. But so that's that side. You just got your little thing. And then on this side, we got, oh, Jesus. Okay. That's the on-off button, guys. This is significantly brighter. Wow. I have white flashing spots in my eyes right now. That was not intentional, I promise. Okay, so but let's compare here for a second, right? $15 light. It gets this far away from my face and it's not lighting me anymore, right? Like it's like a foot and a half away, foot and a half away. Okay. It just broke again. Jesus. So $15 light, right? Lander Cairns XL. It's now like the sun, basically. It's like the sun. And I'm holding it at arm's length away from me, and it's literally like blinding me. That's impressive. That's impressive. Okay. There has to be, I know that there's a way with the app to like, oh, okay, so there's low. So like you hold the button and you can do different, oh, you can like dim it. Okay, cool. So again, I'll probably use the app for the most part, but if you hold down the button, then it like dims and brightens. So like there I held it until it got dim. Now I'm holding it and it's getting brighter, 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 brighter. Bright. Oh my God. And then it beeps once to kind of, or like flashes once to tell you that you've hit the top. Okay, thank you. Wow, that thing is bright. That is way brighter than I even thought it was going to be. That's impressive. Okay, so that's really cool. So I'm excited about that. So again, that's pretty much the unboxing. That's all the stuff that comes in the box. You get the directions, you get your micro USB recharging cable, you get the light. Next, I'm going to kind of open up the app and I'm going to show you how that functions, what it looks like, what it's called. And then again, when I'm in the tent this weekend, then I'm going to get some like real-time, real-life footage. I'm going to put that all together into one sort of big comprehensive review for you guys. So hope that's helpful. So as you can see here, I'm opening the Lander app. Once I do that, you can click on the buttons in the top right corner, and it will, the first time you have to pair the lantern. All you have to do this is push a pin into a little hole, a reset hole. But then in here you can set sleep timers, you can turn the proximity thing on and off. It has a 50-foot radius, so if you go more than 50 feet away from the lantern, when you come back, then it will turn on. And as you can see here too, there are nice little like video things that give you more explanation about each thing. Like you can save the battery if you're out of proximity. You can again turn it on and off, whether you want it to come on when you get close or off when you get far away. And then when you go back to the main body, you can hit the power button at the bottom, and then you can slide that slider up and down to basically turn the brightness of the light up and down. That little exclamation point to the right there, to the right of that slider, you'll see that exclamation point. When you hit that, it actually will make the lantern beep so that you can find it if it's lost, which is pretty awesome. Another cool feature of this lantern is in the bottom right, you'll see these little 3 circles in the shape of a triangle. And that's the RGB mode. You can actually select different colors and make the lantern change colors, which is kind of cool. So as promised, here are a few shots. Of course, it's still a little bit daytime here when I was using it, but you can see just how bright this light is. The proximity sensor on it is a game changer. The only qualm that I would have with it is I wish that you could adjust the distance, because 50 feet is pretty far, especially since I have a rooftop tent. I don't go that far away from the truck generally, but it's still just a really nice thing to have. All right, guys, so that was the Lander Cairns XL RGB 10,000 milliamp hour battery pack / lantern with app connectivity. It's amazing, right? So hopefully that was some cool footage of it in the tent and stuff. I can tell you I'm completely sold on this thing now, man. Like, it is, compared to that cheap old light that I had before, this thing will light up the night. You can turn it on from across the campsite with your phone app. You can dim it, you can change the colors, you could set up the proximity stuff, and then when you get close, it just comes on. You don't have to mess with finding it. Love it. Love it. My new lantern for life, right? So anyways, again, I hope that was helpful for you guys. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, click that big red subscribe button below. I do, gear review videos or Xterra Talk videos or do-it-yourself mod videos every week. I also do a podcast / vlog every week that's a little bit longer, more talks about like general overlanding topics, things like that. Also, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, so if you hang out on those channels and you want to chat, definitely go search for All Things Overlanding or click the links below in the description to follow me over there. And also, I've got awesome patches and stickers in the store, which are really good quality and really awesome, and I've got quite a few people rolling around with them now. But if you'd like a set, click on that store link and go through there and pick up a patch or a sticker for yourself. Anyways, that was it. That was the Lander Cairns XL. Hopefully, again, that was helpful for you. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you next time.